Are we doing this live right now?
We are totally doing it. Unless you'd like to wait. I figure I made you wait long enough.
No, yeah, that's all. I'll just try to figure out if we're gonna do our small talk chat or not. But we're gonna just go ahead and do or no. That's no problem. How are you today? It sounds like you guys have what we have, which is a lot of wind.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's what it's looking like. It's just an intense amount of wind everywhere.
We've already had our schools canceled for the day at about 6 o'clock this morning, Central Time. The schools were canceled because of the wind and the snow. More of just the wind than the snow. It's just blowing the snow around, I think, more than anything.
Wow, yeah, that's. I am not a fan of. I'm not a fan of cold though, and wind makes everything cold. And with the snow that we just got, yeah, it's just going to be blowing everything around the roads. So just safe travels. Are you traveling places today? Are you?
Not anymore. No, we've already canceled our appointments for the day, and we're just going to figure out how to make it work around the house, which is just fine by me. I don't. That doesn't bother me too much, not putting regular clothes on, and going out into the world. I don't mind a nice sweatpants day every now and then.
Those are the best.
Totally are. I mean, absolutely. I was even thinking about making pancakes for lunch. Well, okay, now I'm just getting cocky here. Okay, all right. So yeah. Anyway, world of energy. There's a lot going on. By the way, if I may use this radio station to plug my podcast, if you'd like to go to the crudelife.com, we do have a daily podcast we put on there now, and it's by daily we mean Monday through Thursday. And by 30 minutes, because it's a half hour every day, we mean it could be 45 minutes or 32 minutes. Because in the world of podcasts, you don't have to worry about anybody else, or you don't have to think of a bigger picture. Oh yeah, it's just world revolves around the crude life, type of a thing, and that's not the case. Like I explained, when we do radio, we got news, weather, and announcements and commercials. We're just part of a bigger picture. That's all. We're part of a system, if you will. So, but
glad to have you part of our system anyway.
Well, I appreciate that. But one of the guests we had on this week for interviews, and it will be on this weekend's programming as well, Dan Haley from the Colorado Oil and Gas Association. We also, by the way, we've got two Wyoming individuals on this weekend, one from Gillette and the other one over from Rock Springs on the Powder River Basin side. But Dan Haley, getting back to that, rather interesting because there are currently 6 different ballot initiatives circulating around the state of Colorado by Colorado Rising. Then they're going to pick which one either gets the most votes, or which one they like, or which one, they're going to apparently choose one out of the 6, and they're going to put on the ballot, and it's going to be another go to ban oil and gas in the state of Colorado. And not only that, but now New Mexico has started to put some restrictions and setbacks on oil and gas as well. The city, there's a city in Michigan now that has come forward at the city council level, and they're now starting to put pressure on the city to put restrictions on oil and gas because of health concerns. So what they're doing is they're using the public health cancer study that apparently there's one out there somewhere on the internet. And so they're using that. And by they, environmentalists, and by they, whichever parent wants to enable their child to be the next Aaron Brockovich of the environment. Because Greta Thunberg has now given children a new dream to aspire to, because apparently they're realizing not everybody can be an Instagram model. Not everybody can be a Facebook influencer. So now, hey, I can save the environment in my community. So if you're the first kid to rally some other kids and go in front of the city, that's in now. That's cool. I mean, there's at least 3 cities in North Dakota that have done it that I know of, and now I'm seeing it in Michigan and New Mexico and other cities too. So, like I said, be ready for anything in 2020. In 2020, be ready for anything, because
it's going to be a roller coaster.
It's going to be unbelievable. I mean, my old radio mentor, Brad Anderson, we used to have this thing called Anderson's Law. And his theory is that you can think of the most bizarre, insanely idiotic thing that someone can do, and the next day when you're on the radio, you'll read a news story that will just completely top the most bizarre thing that you could have come up with. You had the word anything, and reality would have just trumped yours. And it's, I find that to be more true than not.
Truth is stranger than fiction a lot of the time.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. So there's going to be an interesting dynamic happening over the next 10 months when it comes to energy with the election, because what is going on in Colorado is going to happen nationwide. I mean, I'm fairly certain Elizabeth Warren is going to be the presidential candidate. It might be Joe Biden, but I'm pretty sure Elizabeth Warren is going to be. And she's really against oil and gas. Like, she wants to ban it right out of the gate. And
I don't know.
Go ahead.
What does Bernie Sanders say about oil and gas?
He wants to ban it too.
That's kind of what I thought, but I wanted to double check before I say anything on it. Yeah, well,
Biden,
it looks like it'll be down between those two, actually.
Biden wants to ban it too, but he also takes money from oil company, and his son, I think, works for one. So he'll waffle. I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter. Trump's going to run away with the election unless Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson runs. But you know my theory on that, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
And people, I'm going to say it once again. You heard it first from me. The only person that can beat Donald Trump is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's it. No one else.
It might be true.
Huh?
That might be true.
And he doesn't even need a political party. He'll just announce, hey, I got the People's Party. It'll be cool. It'll be chic. It'll be fun. George Clooney will endorse it. Oh, man. People will run away from the old, stodgy Democrats because they're not even cool anymore. I mean, at least for Obama was at least cool. I mean, whether you liked him or not, he's still related to the youth. And I mean, Elizabeth Warren, she's just yelling at people, and she's the one that relates to the youth. Bernie Sanders, I mean, thank goodness that Larry David is well liked. Otherwise, Bernie Sanders is gonna. I think he'll eventually just be kind of be looked at like a Muppet. Just kind of, like one of those old Muppets up there making fun of things. Just kind of staunchy old man yelling, Everybody likes him, but nobody takes him that serious. And Biden's legit. He's legit. He could be a candidate. He won't win. So that's where I'm going, though. My point is that there's no Democrats that could even come close to beating Trump. Not even close. Except The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, but he'd never be a Democrat because he's too close to Republican ideals. But, the Republicans have gotten very, defined in the last 4 years. They've become very defined, very vocal. And I think he would start his own party, the People's Party. He has more Instagram followers, I think, than we've got people in the United States. So anyway, I love my pro wrestling as politics angle whenever I can bring that up. I mean,
well, I always find it amusing, and I'm not really wrong actually. He's a very intelligent individual who's got a good heart. Tries to help people and.
Well, I mean, when you look at what Trump is doing, he understands the way. Here, whether the politicians know it or not, they're part of a contrived dance. And it's just like pro wrestling, okay? Instead of headlocks and arm bars, they've got sound bites and they've got bullet points they say they use for education and gun control. So it's very similar. And Trump knows that. He's 2 steps ahead of the media, and he's 2 steps ahead of every politician. And it's just funny to watch him. He's almost like a puppeteer back there. And whether you like it or you don't like it, admit it. Admit it. He's ahead of everybody. I mean, the dude's headlined WrestleMania. He's ahead of everybody. So I don't know. I find it comical, but at the same time, I find it a little bit scary.
I agree with that. Definitely, that's a pretty good, concise way of putting it. It's a little scary, a little funny, a little scary.
So, but more,
it's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah, but to kind of circle back to the energy side of things, Colorado's got a tough fight ahead of them. They really do. And by seeing what's going on in New Mexico, what's happening in California, what's happening in the state of New York, what's happening in Michigan now, Fargo, North Dakota, where I'm at, they've got high school kids that have already appeared before the city council and demanded the city declare a climate emergency due to fossil fuels. And Austin, Texas, the same thing is happening. So what's the environmental movement is hitting the youth in such a way that I don't believe the energy industry has any idea what's going on, because they're so busy working. I mean, think about that. They're so busy working to make sure that we can take for granted that the light switch works. And the kids have become so detached, and I've said this before, what's going on right now with today's generation, and I'll even say almost up to 50, it seems like, everybody thinks energy comes from the light switch in the same way that people think groceries and the food comes from the grocery store instead of farmers. So the way that the people turn their backs on the farmers is kind of the same thing as the people are turning their backs on, the fossil fuels, which is supplying, 60, 70, 80, 90% of energy, and 96% of our everyday products have fossil fuels in them. So it's, I don't have any answer for that. It's again, I'm just trying to have the conversation so people become aware of it and they can go have the conversation, because this is a serious thing. Take like Elizabeth Warren, for example. I don't know how much time we have here, but I don't understand.
We'll probably need to wrap it up here pretty quick.
Okay.
I'm interested in hearing this thought.
Give me 30 seconds, because I challenge the media why they give her a free pass. Okay. I saw the other day where she wants to eliminate student loans. Okay. She wants to wipe out student loans. And she also wants to get rid of the oil and gas industry. Okay. So you want to eliminate the only thing that's added jobs in the last 20 years, or in the last 10 years, that's had a net gain of jobs, that employs the most people and creates the most economical energy. And you want to get rid of student loans too? Okay. Do you even understand how an economy works? Because you apparently want to create a whole new one. Just the idea of eliminating student loans is crazy. To say we want to put a mandate that they can't exceed 1%, okay, that's a legit idea. But her ideas are so extreme, it's almost, I don't know. I'm just beside myself that I don't know how the media has not deemed her crazy or just laughable, how she's not laughed off the stage. Anyway, and she's the leading candidate, so Trump's got it sewed up. All right, well, we'll catch you next week. Next week, the crudelife.com for all of our programming, and you can check out what we have for exclusive interviews, etc.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason. Sounds awesome, and it was great talking to you today.
Catch you next week.